What's going on, amazing people? My name is Ricky. Welcome to Learn Plan Profit. Hope you guys are all having a great start to the morning. I'm going to start sharing my screen so you guys can see what it is that I'm looking at. I'm going to ask you for the biggest favor, Phasian. I don't know what is up with people putting the eggplant thing. It's inappropriate. If you guys can do me the biggest favor and just completely stop, doing with that emoji. There's no reason to. There's no benefit. Hope that's okay for me to ask. As of right now, I have no open position. As you guys can see, did not trade one bit during pre-market hours. I really tried to get some rest. I really struggled yesterday throughout the day to stay kind of productive just because I got such little sleep, and that's not something that I want to go through today just because I have a lot of work that I have to catch up on. But one of the things that so good morning everyone. I hope you guys all had best rest. Hope you guys are ready to do well today. One of the things that we can see here is that based off of where it closed at, natural gas has been trying to show signs of an uptrend. Based off of pre-market hours, it looks like it peaked out right around 2.67, and then it pulled back, went below the middle view up, tried to push up again. Look at the RSI and look at the MACD. It's giving signs that, again, it's approaching a general area where it's a little bit more on the overextended side. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get some skin in the game on ticker symbol DGAS. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go in with 300 shares. So 300 shares at a purchase price of 4.3. I don't have to do EXT. I was in such a, So we'll go here. Try to see if we get filled. And, okay, so we got filled already. So I got filled at 111.43. Right now, the bidding the ask are from 111.41 to 111.59. So why is it? Oh, I didn't even get completely filled. I barely got filled with. I almost got filled completely. 237 shares. That's fine if I don't get filled with the entire thing. So I'm gonna set my alerts are already set. So for when this thing breaks above 112. When this thing breaks above 113, and then when just in case it does end up pushing up randomly, but we'll definitely go from there. So here we go. Why is it that I feel empowered to take this trade? Well, one of the things that, again, and this can be all, this can completely change. I mean, the market just opened. So one of the things, and I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this, but one of the things that I've noticed is when I trade during pre-market hours or during extended hours, and then I begin to trade during normal market hours, the patterns definitely can react differently. This all happened during pre-market hours, so how high it went doesn't mean that it has to go that high, or it means that it can actually go even higher depending on the demand and depending on the volatility when the market does open. So that's just something that I want to point out, that sometimes we do see a difference in, I just want to see characteristics of how that specific stock trades after the market opens. The reason that I felt comfortable, again, it's just this general price range from 2.66 to 2.67. Normally, natural gas does not hold for very long around this general area. So even if it does end up pushing up, my position size isn't 100%, meaning that even if it does peak out, right, just like it's pushing up right now, so if it does peak out and then begins to sell off, I can add more to my position size as natural gas sells off, then meaning D-gas pushes up, and then ultimately still be able to profit off of it as long as it stays mainly within this price range. So as of right now, again, D-gas is now around 111.20. So here we go. I'm going to set my alert because just as much as it could go up, it can go down. And right now it's definitely going down. So what is going on, David? Yeah, I mean, you can definitely look on the 5-day, 5-minute chart, and that's up to you, right? So if you look at the 5-day, 5-minute chart, I'm sure whatever, or the 1-day, 5-minute chart, it's indifferent, right? So I see what it is that you're saying with the MACD, right? When it peaked out, showing signs of a peak formation. So I wouldn't say that the MACD on the 5-day, 5-minute chart is the most effective, right? Because we could see multiple times where it already peaked out, it sold off, and there's a lot of divergence around this general area where it kind of still pushed up, still pushed down, and it was kind of all over the place. And also, I'm focused on day trades. So if I do see there to be a break of pattern, I'll quickly change my overall plan. So here we go. I'm going to set my series of alerts on natural gas, but I really do appreciate your input. And if it works for you and it's something that you see value in, then I would continue to do that, regardless of what I do or what how I trade. And that's always something that I've tried to empower our traders to do, is to focus on what works well for you and forget about what I'm doing, right, or what others do. So what else are you guys paying attention to? So we'll review these very quickly, right? So there we go. /CL. Looks like it's been uptrending since where it closed out yesterday. It then sold off, pushed up. So ultimately, it's still trending up, but it's kind of all over the place. So keep a very close eye on this. Again, if you're struggling to identify a consistent pattern, then maybe be a little bit more selective before you choose to take your next position. Here we go, /ES, showing some signs of recovery, trading between the middle and top view up. Really nice pattern there, right? So it looks like it peaked out. Looks like when it gets closer to this general area of like the 2835, it tends to get rejected, and then it's beginning to sell off. And it's been bouncing off this middle view up. So maybe that's something that we can look out for. Again, the market just opened, so it might react a little bit differently. And we can kind of go from there. So just locked in $55 done for the day. Isaiah, super happy to hear that. Congratulations on that trade. All right, /NQ is going to be very similar in /GC, based off where it closed at. Again, because we talked about this yesterday. So if /ES, right, which is the S&P 500 future, and /NQ is uptrending, so it's recovering from yesterday's patterns, what's the correlation between that and gold? What's the correlation between that? So if if the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ future are pushing up, what does that mean gold is doing? Do you guys remember? Gold would be going down. Again, this is a correlation that you would be able to see as time goes on. But yesterday, when the market was selling off, gold was then pushing up. Once the market becomes, oversold and consolidates and then begins to reverse back up, then gold will most likely pull back. So I just want you guys to understand that, because let's say you feel very uncomfortable as the market is selling off. You're like, what is it that I can trade? Again, it's about, I think like trading you can view it as some form of like problem solving. Okay, well right now the market is selling off, so I don't want to really touch anything like that. I could either trade inverse ETFs according to the overall market, or I can go for gold, right? And if the direction is super clear, now you have a number of options, and making it that much easier for you to cherry pick what it is that you see the most value in. So those were my simple breakdowns, right? And then I'm gonna start breaking down whatever it is that you guys see value in. So let's see. So we got someone calling out, I think it was UWT, right? UWT, and that's by Jamal. Appreciate that. So UWT, so again, that would have a correlation between /CL. So I would keep a very close eye on this overall future. Right now it's selling off. So, yes, it has been showing signs of an uptrend, but now it is breaking below the SMA line, which it wasn't before. So I'd keep a very close eye on this for a potential change of direction. Again, if you see some inconsistencies that you don't feel comfortable trading with, then I would simply just, maybe hold back just a little bit. Or if you set up a plan and you see the margin of profit to be worth it, then, I'd go for it. You do you. Here we go. DGAS back up. So we're back above my initial purchase price. There we go. So we're in the green, right? I did get fully filled, so you guys could see that I have the 300 shares. And just so you could see, again, for those that tuned in a little late, I have one order that I got filled, and this is my only order today. So nothing crazy. Just waiting for a confirmation. Right now, natural gas. Do you guys see this? Natural gas is kind of going according to plan. There it goes. It's beginning to sell off. So what do we do? What do we do when it's beginning to sell off, right? What do we do? Will I get filled? average up, right? And again, I feel like I'm doing there we go. So I pulled it back a little bit just because I saw that there could be a potential support. So why did you guys see that I had my original limit order at 1190 and then I pulled it back to 1180, and that's where I got filled for my second one. So you guys can see that I got filled at 1180. Why did I choose to go back 10 cents? Why? Well, one thing that, again, I have my second monitor over here. And one thing that I noticed is as something begins to sell off, it tends to consolidate and try to push right back up. So as there's a sell off, it doesn't mean that it has to go like bloop, right? It usually doesn't do that. When something pushes up, it doesn't just go bloop, right? It's not a penny stock, it's not a pump and dump, and it's something that's either going to show signs of a consistent uptrend and push up and push down. It's this upward staircase pattern, or as something is selling off and approaches, previous resistance levels, which can be viewed as, new support levels. You can see with this SMA line and this middle VWAP that it might catch a support, it might try to push up, recover, and then get rejected by the EMA line and then continue its downtrend. So I feel like I'm doing my part in adding more to my position size when I'm getting a little bit more confirmation. The MACD is not in favor of natural gas, right? And then looking at the overall pattern for degas, I feel like I'm doing my part and understanding like kind of the characteristic and the way that natural gas and degas move. So I understand that my entry points and my exit points, are according. So again, I didn't save a lot. I saved 10 cents because my original bid was at 11.90 and now I put it at 11.80. But every penny counts, right? Oh, you like the bloop? Yeah, I don't know what sound effect to use when something shoots up. It's just bloop, right? But yeah, so now we have our series of alerts right here. I'm just going to be waiting for either lower lows or higher highs on natural gas and kind of see where it goes from here. So there we go. Here we go. We should see a nice little push up. Nice little push up for the boys, or what? Alrighty. Locked in $1,135 profit on you guys pre-market. Congrats. Super happy to hear that. Not much going on here. Let's see. It looks like natural gas is trying to build a support /NG. Are you guys seeing this? There it goes, and it's trying to find a support around that general area, and it definitely can. So I'll just have to make sure that I watch it closely. But do you see how it's building a support right around the 2.657? Again, that's not something that I could have necessarily like predicted. So looks like it's trying to find a support and see kind of where it goes from here. So I set my alert to see if this thing continues to sell off, but we'll watch it closely. Any advice on averaging up? I think one of the biggest mistakes, I think a lot of people learn best from like mistakes, right? So I think one of the biggest mistakes that I made when it came down to like averaging up and averaging down is that I feel like, okay, well, if my account is like 1,000 or if my account is $10,000, I need to make sure that I continue to get filled 100% of the time. So I'll go and like, oh man, like it's so close to the resistance, but I only have, let's say, $7,000 out of my $10,000 in the position. I'll add the remaining $3,000 to just be fully invested, even though I know I'm super close to the resistance, which is not good, right? So if you're close to resistance, then you should sell. Depending on, it doesn't matter how much you're in, how much how much is left, because you should have a focus on getting in for a good deal, and at any sign of a resistance to simply lock in profits and walk away. So one of the biggest mistakes that I made was thinking that I had to be fully invested every single time that I averaged up, which wasn't necessarily the case. I feel much more comfortable when I average up, when I feel and understand that the direction is in my favor. So I have about $30,000 more to go to be fully invested in this, a little bit over $30,000 more to go to be fully invested in degas. Right now, natural gas, from where I averaged up and where I thought that I was seeing lower lows, it pushed right back up again. So does it make sense for me to add more to my position size right here? No, right? I mean, it doesn't, because right now it's not confirming the sell-off. So what is it that I can wait for to reassure myself that, hey, I'm adding more to my position size that's making me money? Wait for that overall direction to be my favor. And if it's not, then I have to make sure that I manage my risk accordingly. So again, it's all about, again, that's why I like to keep it like pretty simple. It's all about how comfortable you feel, making sure that the direction is in your favor, and when it is, that you go with it. And I think that's what really differentiates like you being able to determine that, like, when is the right time to add more to my position size, when is the right time to lock in profits. So I would have a huge focus on that. So how do you average up when you have a small account? The commissions eat me. Yeah, that's definitely if you have Robinhood, obviously it doesn't matter if you're under the PDT rule, because you could buy and then just sell once, and that's still just one day trade. But when it comes down to like having another broker where you do have to pay commission on it, and you do have, let's say, relatively a smaller account, definitely, I mean, I would call and try to negotiate your commissions, right, and try to see if you can get it a little bit lower, or really have a strong focus in making sure that the margins of profit are worth it, and that maybe the way that you average up is a little bit more effective. So sometimes I will average up for my initial purchase price and then 3 more times. That could be, that can eat up all your profits if you're trading with like $1,000. But, maybe then you can average up once and then a second time. And the second time, you just have to make sure that it really has confirmations of higher highs and stuff like that. So you have to be a little bit more selective, right? Nothing crazy. So just more selective. So natural gas selling right back off, right? So we're good. I'm gonna wait just a little bit. Even if I have to stop here. So here we go, $368. Not bad, right? I'm going to close that out. And natural gas is trying to sell off as of right now. We'll have to see if it breaks below that middle VWAP. Not too sure if it will. But right now we're right around 402. Let's see. I just want to see lower lows form for natural gas. And there it goes. It's trying to push right back up again. We need that D gas should pull up or pull back. What's going on, Michael? Hope you're having a good start to the morning. So when do I plan on selling? Well, what I'm waiting for is for natural gas to get around 2.65 to 2.645. So I don't know what that correlates on over to D-gas. That might be around 113. But at any sign of a resistance, I'm considering actually selling right now, because the MACD and the RSI aren't viewed as the best right now. So I'm just trying to keep a very close eye out for that and try to see I'm just trying to keep a closer eye on natural gas. So I'm trying to be patient, give it time, and not be so focused. But definitely I have a price range on natural gas that I'm watching, that when it gets to that, I'll definitely sell on D-gas if it gets to that point. Let's see. Here we go. Thank you again, Darwin, for putting it in the technical call-out format when you want me to break down a stock. CWT, we'll do that right now. So CWT, there's a lot of consolidation before. Let's see kind of where it's at right now. Okay, so it's beginning to finally kind of start making higher highs. The RSIs are a little bit overextended. Based off previous patterns, we're at that same resistance. So I have my series of alerts already following up. Again, there's no reason to try to expedite the process. It can get rejected because it's still below the SMA line. So I would still like to wait a little bit more. I know I'm being annoying, but I would personally still like to wait just a little bit more before adding more to my position size on ticker symbol CWT. Well, I'm not even trading it right now, but you get what I mean, right? What do you use your phone? Okay, so Aaron, you probably saw on my video yesterday that I always have my phone next to me when I'm trading. I look at the mark price. sometimes this market price on the TD Ameritrade platform sucks, and it doesn't show you like exactly like what they're. So if I were to sell at market, it would most likely sell it at that specific price. And one thing that I don't like is, like, let's say I do want to get out at a market order. Usually that doesn't happen very often, but I'll sell with a limit order at the market price to ensure that I get filled there instead of getting filled between the bid and the ask. So yesterday when it came down to one of my last exits, I looked at this, I saw what the market price was, so I knew, holy moly, wow, 500, 400, wow, holy smokes. Give me one quick second, but yeah, that's why I do that. Dang. Hold up. All right, so I'm gonna add 200 more shares, and that's gonna be it where I'm gonna stop. Bloop. Phase in, you got it. So I'm gonna close this out so I don't see, or I'll try to focus on how much I'm trading with, or how much I'm up, how much I'm down. Sorry. Do you keep the stat sheet? No, I don't. As of right now, Sebastian, I'm looking at the 1 day, 1 minute chart time frame for natural gas. If you're looking, yeah, so that's mainly what I'm looking at as of right now. Yeah, I've talked about it before on the different markets that I invest in. So, yeah, I've talked about, I mean, I make videos about it as well. And then I've been investing into, like, not necessarily like small businesses, but businesses that are probably not as well known, but that produce, that are kind of like, they require a lot of money, but they make a decent amount of return. That's not, those are all private investments, so that's not something I talk about. I like that. Jump. This is exactly what I like to see. So sold DGAS, not comfortable with that top VWAP. I love that. So regardless of what I'm doing, regardless of what anybody else is doing, you took initiative and you decided to, take that position, right? And sell that position. I think that's, one of the most beautiful things about, Learn, Plan, Profit, and about just trading is that you work on being a self-sufficient trader. I think that's the goal. It's not being told what to do, nothing like that. It's being empowered to have your own voice and to be your own individual. So I'm super happy to hear that. I don't know what this is. What's that? Trillion? What is that? I like that. Congrats, Megan. Nice, nice, nice. I like your little cover picture. Trapping. Oh, no. Maybe, right? No, not at all. Maybe one day I can talk, not maybe one day, but maybe in the near future, there's one person that is pretty young that I invested in their company, um, and they might be open to the idea of filming some of it, but I wouldn't even want to. They're such like lucrative little businesses that like I don't even really care to really. Maybe I'll share the idea of the overall concept and what it does, but not talk about that actual like business. You know, there's nothing wrong with just having a little privacy. Do you think it's easier to trade after the first hour of the market being open? I think it's easier to trade when the pattern and direction's in your favor and there's no set general time frame that always is met. So I think it takes, um, people always like to categorize when's the best time to trade. And yes, there could be a general time whether it can be, but in reality, that doesn't really matter because, again, we're so focused on getting something for a good deal and for the direction being in our favor. So we feel comfortable and confident with our trade. So I would have a much larger focus on that rather than hoping for the best. So I would have a larger focus on making sure everything's according to plan rather than, hey, when's the best time to trade for you, Ricky? Because just because I do well during a certain time doesn't mean that you will. See, we have a nice little resistance right around here, right? Not getting filled. Yeah, filled with 100 shares. I swear, guys, like, we can't make this stuff up. Like, people think I'm joking. Ricky, you complain so much about always selling too early. Really? I don't think so. But hey, not bad. I can't complain about $550 in a couple minutes. So, yeah. Are you totally out? Yep, I'm totally out. Here we go. Sold. All right. Yeah, as of right now, it's still pushing up. Might be pulling back a little bit before it continues to uptrend. So I'll just have to watch it very closely and kind of see where it's at. I know I started the live stream just a little late, so we're right around that 30-minute mark. But again, why did I want to sell, or what influenced me to want to sell? A lot of consolidation, and I just and this is, I'm gonna close out the video with this. So trust me, it sucks. Like, it sucks like selling, because again, if I would have just held for that 1 minute, like, what was that? 5 seconds? No, literally like 2 seconds after I sold. There's a break and it pushed up, and it pushed up another 20 cents. I sold at 112.50. It pushed up, the bid was at 112.70, so it pushed up another 20 cents. I think I had like 800 shares, so that would have been a nice little chunk of change. Average out of your position, yeah, but then again, the commission, so for the average person, that wouldn't be very realistic. And on top of that, I knew that there's a resistance, and I want to talk to you guys about this is going to be like a mindset type of thing for when I trade. I know that when I do try to maximize profits, sometimes when it does play out according to plan and I wait to sell at a certain price point and it's at a resistance and I sell, I lock in profits and I'm just like, wow, that was a perfect trade. Great, it feels really good. But what sucks, and correct me if I'm wrong, what sucks is when I take a position when I see obvious consolidation, right? I knew I was up over $500. When I see consolidation at 112.50, 112.60, right? It was at the bid was always at 112.43 and the ask was always at 112.59. So there's a lot of consolidation in the area. So I was just like, okay, I'm going to sell in between because it's been consolidating there for 5 minutes. Why would I do that? First of all, I was in with about $90,000, right? I was up, not a large amount, but I knew that I was up a certain dollar amount that I was just like, I don't want to give that back, right? And moving forward, I would feel so much more comfortable and confident knowing that I locked in profits when I saw an indication of a resistance and simply walk away. I will have peace in mind. You know what days feel like I'm being dragged along is when I'm in a position and it goes into aftermarket hours and I have to wait for it to hopefully, either go up or go down or play out according to plan. In the end, that's, in my eyes, just so much time, not wasted, but it's not as efficient. And I feel so much more of an efficient trader when I get in and get out and then just call it a day. And I'm just speaking based off my experience. It's nothing that's like factual, nothing like that. I'm not saying that everyone has to do that. You guys are watching this video to learn from my best practices. And that is one thing that motivates me. What motivates me, for those that always ask me to get up in the morning every single day, to know that there's a new opportunity. And look, it's actually right back down to 112. So again, I think I sold at a decent price point, but what gets me to wake up every morning to feel empowered to do what it is that I do is the new series of opportunities that present itself. But if I continue to discourage myself with this like roller coaster effect of being dragged along, I'm not going to feel as empowered to get up every morning at 6 in the morning or sometimes at 4 in the morning or 3 in the morning to do this every single day. Why? Because it messes with my emotions. But if I just focus on getting in, locking in profits, and calling it a day, if you have not tried that already and you're getting discouraged when it comes down to trading, at any indication, and again, take note of this, at any indication of a resistance, regardless of how much it is that you are up or regardless of how much it is that you are down, let's say that you're $10 down below your initial purchase price, but it's showing signs of resistance, you didn't do your part in getting in for a good deal, or the overall direction changed. So guess what you have to do? Yes, it sucks, especially for those under the PDT rule because you have to use that day trade. But guess what? You need to make sure that your best practices that you implement today align with your overall goal. And that means that you most likely will have to lock in profits because of what you don't want to experience. You don't want to get stuck in that position. It sells off, you bag hold, and then for the next 5 days, you're bag holding something and then lose 40% of your account. And then you never want to do this again. You're just like, it's going to take me forever to make that money back, right? I wasted all this time and I'm, emotionally beat. And that's just not fun. But what's a simple solution? Again, it's the simple things in life. Lock in profits. Lock in profits at any indication of a resistance. Literally the simple things in life. So we've talked about it multiple times. The very small progress every day can lead to huge results. It's not about being a genius. It's not about being a wizard, right? I'm not a trading wizard or anything like that. I feel like I'm one of the simplest traders that I've been able to kind of watch, right? When it comes down to my series of best practices, there's nothing special about me. I'm not any smarter than you. I think my best qualities as an individual are that I'm self-disciplined, I'm very consistent, and I try to be as real as I can with what it is that I'm doing. And at any indication of resistance, if I see that, then I'll lock in profits. So, and there's a little, I'm dorky, right? But we're talking about trading. So I had a ton of fun with you guys. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. Again, I know it's not a ton of money, but I think it's kind of interesting to see from beginning to end of why I took a position, how I averaged up twice, and then when it led to being at a certain resistance, why I decided to lock in profits, and then kind of go from there. So I'm pretty much halfway to my daily goal as of right now. We'll kind of see where it's at, and yeah, I mean, let's have fun. Let's enjoy the process as we're learning and feel empowered. Ask questions, help people out, because the more you help people out, the more that you'll learn as well. And be involved. If you're someone that's just like in your own little, I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable, but if you're someone that is like struggling to kind of like communicate or network with other people within an area, just imagine like we have thousands of people within Learn, Plan, Profit that are doing this every single day. Build relationships, ask questions, help people out, empower them. Like you guys can do literally everything that is that I do when it comes down to like, or when they say like, oh Ricky, you're so like motivating, or Ricky, you're so empowering. Why? Because I send a little message to like, wish you guys a good day. That's all. But it's doing it every single day, right? Be someone that people want to be around, not someone that discourages others or subjugates others. That's, I think, and you'll learn a lot from that. And I'm sure like I can learn a lot from you guys based off of those that might be a little bit older than me, and based off your experience and your tenure and how you've been able to like network and build that, in a sense, like connotation of yourself, where it comes down to like, people just want to be around you, not because you're the best or not because you're absolutely amazing, but because you're just empowering, you're a good person to be around. And there's I think that's a beautiful thing, right? Both with friends and family. So really do appreciate you guys' time. Hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. Continue working hard, continue following your dreams, let your passion be what drives you in your success. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy, team. Before I end it, I do want to remind you that if you guys have not, I'm sure you guys have, but for those that are still here, there's a Facebook, I think it ends actually tomorrow. Oh, it does end tomorrow. A Facebook giveaway. So if you're, obviously you guys are already enrolled in the course, we'll give you a full refund as long as you have not won any other contest. All you have to do is, I'm going to have to share the link. I'll share the link on the announcement section, and then you guys can go from there. You guys just have to tag someone, like the post, and I think comment something. And that's really just it. So if you guys want a full refund on the course, or potentially win a full refund, so like getting the course for free, then yeah, you guys can partake in that. But yeah, thank you guys again for your time. Take it easy.